Whenever you wake up in the morning, do you choose to go through the day being a victim? Or do you tell yourself to spend each moment being a victor? 9 years ago, I thought I was going to die without much legacy to the world. I was working in the United States as a physical therapist from 2006 to 2011. I had a really good job there with great benefits and an awesome pay. I was earning in 2 days what I used to earn in 1 month's time in the Philippines as a job order therapist in our local hospital back home. I had an immigrant visa and I was ready to apply for my US citizenship. My family was also just waiting for their immigrant documents to arrive before they come and join me in the United States. We were ready to enjoy that American dream that most people were wishing to have. But out of homesickness and many other reasons, I decided to go back home to the Philippines for good. I bade goodbye to the United States on a Friday at 11:20 in the morning on March 10, 2011. We were supposed to have a 2-hour layover in Japan, which lasted much longer than that. We were expected to arrive in Manila on March 11. However, we arrived on March 13. We were right over Japan when the March 11, 2011 earthquake and tsunami happened. So we got stuck there. From Narita Airport, we were redirected to Haneda Airport where we had to stay for a while. We could not sleep at all. The airport was filled with people, more than it could probably accommodate, and we were feeling very strong aftershocks every few minutes. Seriously, we did not know if we were ever going to get out of there alive. If you have seen the photos and videos of how that earthquake and tsunami devastated Japan back in 2011, you would be feeling goosebumps in your skin. It felt so much worse than that for us, who were suddenly caught in the middle of it, when all we thought was that we were only supposed to have a 2-hour layover there. I was still thankful that I made it home. Had we landed earlier, I can't say if everything would still be the same. I cannot say if I would still be in front of you today, telling you my story or launching my book, Daily Dose of Sunshine. I feel that's a second life given to me and I am grateful. I am also thankful to my angels, Joel, Bill, and Dan, for I would not know what I would have done in Japan without them. Joel was my seatmate at the plane from the United States. He was a Filipino-American going to the Philippines to visit his fiancée. He said he knew his way around Japan, so the moment we got stuck there, I stuck with him as well so that I would not get lost. Bill and Dan were Americans going back home to the United States, and just like us, they also just got redirected to Haneda and needed to get out of Japan through Narita. These 3 guys were my adventure buddies, as I pleaded to them in letting me join them in getting from Haneda to Narita. I was going home for good, so I had 3 heavy suitcases. These 3 guys were the ones who had to carry my luggage through stairs, through hallways, through roads, and everywhere amidst all the rubble around us. We also had to endure a 5-hour taxi ride cramped up in a tiny cab in Japan because we had to continue our journey by road because all the tunnels collapsed. For that, I say God is good all the time. He sent me those 3 angels so that I can make it safely back home, experience all that I needed to experience, and write my books so I can bless others. Moving on, I came back home. It did. I did not want to go back to working as a physical therapist, so I opened a printing business instead, of which I got scammed big time. I did not know anything about the printing industry. But the advertisement I saw on the newspaper seemed really promising. They said, it said, we were going to invest our money with them and they were going to train and guide and support us all the way. They were also going to provide us with all the equipment that we needed. It did not happen. In 2 months' time, we were left with nothing but a printer, a computer, and a few other items, total amount of which was not even commensurate to 1/7 of the amount that we invested. No training, no support, and the couple that we invested our money with was nowhere to be found. I was lost. Even when I tried contacting the National Bureau of Investigation to help me, my lawyer cousin could not believe that I got scammed big time and joked, how can an intelligent graduate of Philippine Science High School and a former student of the University of the Philippines like me be duped so easily just like that? I did not know either, but that initial attempt at business broke my confidence real bad. I had no choice. It was either sink or swim for me. So I picked myself up, trained myself, and did my best to let the business survive. It was overwhelming, truth be told. I was stressed big time. There was one day my son got hospitalized. I was supposed to be his watcher, but when I was sent out on an errand to buy his medication, I got dizzy and passed out at the pharmacy. Thankfully, a passerby happened to see me lose consciousness and he was quick to get a hold of me before my head would hit the pavement. They rushed me to the emergency room. As I regained consciousness, I realized I had peed in my pants. It was kind of very degrading. But I later learned that it was as if my systems shut off and my conscious control of everything was lost for a moment when I passed out. Eventually, my ECG, my EEG, and my laboratory results turned out to be normal. So even until now, no one could explain why that happened to me, except for the reason that I was probably stressed and overworked. I am glad that a good friend invited me to attend a personal growth workshop that lasted for 2 days. That first ever leadership workshop that I attended truly empowered me as an individual. I learned how to get in touch with my own essence. I learned how to take responsibility for my choices. I discovered self-limiting beliefs that I have had for a long time, and I learned how to overcome them so I can live a more fulfilled life. I did not stop there. I also took the second leg of the workshop, which was even more intensive. The learnings that I got from that 4-day workshop helped me to move further in life with more love for myself and more love for others. And I also took the third leg, which was even more rigid because it lasted for 60 days, 60, with more intensive personalized coaching. I do not regret having invested in myself, in my own personal growth, because those workshops that I attended, those trainings and seminars that I have attended, made me allowed me to experience total personal empowerment, which I probably needed at that time. The 3 workshops really opened my eyes, and it was as if they raised my flashlight. If before I held my flashlight within myself in such a way that all I could think of was me, myself, and I as a poor victim of circumstances, they raised the flashlight so I could see my feet and the ground I was standing on. It made me realize that there was more to life than my pains. The second leg raised the flashlight even higher, spreading the beam further, and I could now see the people around me. I realized that I had family and friends who loved me. Finally, the third leg raised my flashlight high enough to make me realize there was no purpose in playing small. I am part of something wide and huge and majestic, and I am here to co-create a beautiful world with God instead of dwelling on my own pains and sufferings. Looking back and looking forward to now, what I experienced back then and what we are doing right now are all interconnected. Every tear that I shed when I was lost, confused, and depressed probably had to happen so that I can be led to workshop after workshop after workshop. And yes, I attended more trainings and workshops and seminars after that, so that eventually I could be led to this day where I could inspire you to listen to my future workshops and to share with you my book being launched today, Daily Dose of Sunshine. I was able to keep my printing business afloat for 8 years. And then one day, my eyes were opened to energy healing where I got a very intensive training in. One thing led after another, and then suddenly I felt being pulled back to practicing physical therapy once again. I decided to close my print shop, renew my PT license, and become a physical therapist and alternative therapist in one. Here goes. I then approached my college friend Ria Lisa to update me on our profession because for 8 long years, I have not practiced physical therapy at all. Ria Lisa works in Baguio City and I work in the province. You know what she told me? Her message was like, finally Far has come to her senses. I was like, what? She further admitted to me that whenever they would have patients from Bontoc who needed physical therapy in Baguio, and when these patients were ready to be discharged back to the province to continue their physical therapy in the province, these patients, especially women, would prefer to stay back in the city instead of going back home to the province because our only therapist in Bontoc was male and they wanted a female physical therapist. So when I approached Rhea last year and told her that I was going back to physical therapy, she told me straight to my face. She said, Far, you know what? I used to wonder if your conscience was not bothering you at all, seeing there were a lot of physical therapy patients needing your help in Bontoc, but you refused to practice your profession. That woke me big time. It was like finally I realized why I kept struggling in my printing business and in all other businesses that I attempted to do. I had a bigger purpose to fulfill. But I insisted on doing what I wanted to do out of my pride. Back in 2011 when I got scammed, I was already probably being sent a message, but I refused to listen. When Rhea told me her thoughts, I felt so much shame for being so gung-ho about trying to recover from my initial attempt at business. But then I also felt so much relief for finally being led back to where I am meant to be. So as I said, I am now back to working as a physical therapist as well as an alternative therapist while doing some side businesses online as a wisdom broker. And now here I am, bringing my gift to the world, my book being launched today, Daily Dose of Sunshine. So what's my main point here? Why did I have to discuss about my Japan experience, my printing business venture, and my physical therapy comeback? Listen to this. I want to give each and every one of you a message that with faith, hope, and love, we can all live through life's complexities and be of service to the world. I may have struggled, I may have had a few curveballs, but I am here in front of you all now, armed with a purpose to share His love, give you some hope, and serve you all through my book, as well as through this talk. At this point, I'd like to share with you 4 virtues that we need to have and to keep in life. These were the four virtues that I strongly held onto during my low moments. And these are the four virtues that we need to have and to keep in life, no matter what the moment may be it high or low, upbeat or rock bottom, happy or sad. What are these four virtues? Actually, I already mentioned them earlier: faith, hope, love, and serve. We hear so much about faith, hope, and love. In fact, it is even biblical. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 13 states this, "And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love." I have a tattoo on my back that reads and symbolizes faith, hope, and love. I call myself God's angel of faith, hope, and love. Allow me to tell you why. This came about because of another workshop training I went through, which led me to understand and embrace my greatness by practicing the values of love and respect. There's a session in the workshop where we get to know who we really are and what values we strongly represent. Bruce, the founder and facilitator who came all the way from Hawaii, led us through some kind of special process of self-awareness, and as we got deeper into the moment, we get in touch with our own selves and discover who we really are. In my case, as he asked us to close our eyes and got us into a peaceful mode where we got in touch with our Creator and our inner being, he asked us to look around and see or hear the message being given as to who we are. I sat there with my eyes closed, and I saw myself as a tiny little baby, so cute and so innocent. I got closer to look at my swaddling cloth because there were words written on it, like some parents usually embroider or write their babies' names in them. While Bruce was doing his own special connection and giving out the instruction, I saw the words, faith, hope, and love, flashing from my swaddling cloth. As soon as he asked us to open our eyes and get back to our current disposition, he said whatever we saw or heard or felt was a message of who we really are. Thus, whatever happens to me, you only need to ask me, who are you? And I would be reminded to get back to that moment and know that I am not defined by the current circumstances in my life. I have a strength within me. I am more than my challenges, and as long as I remember who I really am, I can always bounce back. I have a much bigger purpose to play for humanity instead of being absorbed in my own life and in my own little circle at home. Who am I? I am God's angel of faith, hope, and love. That's about faith, hope, and love. I added serve to make it 4 virtues and to make it even more complete. This one came about after my training under Master Del Pei. He advocates empowerment of oneself to always do the highest service and express the highest good. And this is why I was inspired to add serve to faith, hope, and love. So going back to dissecting these 4 virtues that we need to have and keep in life, we start off with faith. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in others. Have faith in God, Allah, higher being, the universe, or however you wish to acknowledge the absolute one. Faith is believing in something when common sense tells you not to. And faith is not necessarily always about religion. Having faith in yourself is believing in yourself more, believing in your own dreams, believing in your own capabilities, and believing you have a right to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve in life. Having faith in others is trusting them and seeing the best in them even during the times that they are not most lovable, and encouraging them to be the greatest version of themselves so they can shine their light to others too. Having faith in the supreme power is acknowledging that we are but a minute spectacle in the universe. But out of all the gazillion spectacles in the universe, We are here and thriving. So that means our life matters to someone or something greater out there. So why are we sometimes taking our own life for granted? Having faith in the powers of the greatest superhero is not just trusting that things will get better if they are not. Having faith in a greater being is also expressing gratitude, knowing that life continues to be good because someone out there is looking out after us all the time. Next virtue is hope. To quote Desmond Tutu, hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. This reminds me of my first time in mainland USA. Things happened so fast back then. On September 27, 2005, the consul who interviewed me at the US Embassy in Manila issued me a working visa that was valid for 3 days. Seriously, my passport was stamped with an H-1B visa that was expiring on September 30, 2005, 3 days later. And take note, it said M, multiple entry. It felt like a big joke. I rushed back to Baguio that same day and spent the 28th and 29th fixing all things and documents I needed. My POEA and OWA documents would not have been ready in 1 day if not for the mom of my friend who worked there. My family arrived in Baguio from Bontoc just in time to say goodbye before I left from Manila to beat my 6:45 a.m. flight on September 30. Oh, and my dad was also in the hospital the day I left Baguio because he just had a stroke, which made it even more difficult for me to leave. Anyway, the flight took a while. I was just lucky that US time is way behind Philippine time, so by the time I arrived in LA, it was the afternoon of September 30. The immigration officer looked at my passport and said, "You only have a few hours left to work here in the United States before I send you back home to the Philippines because your visa is expiring tonight." This is crazy. He was kind enough to give me 4 days to let my lawyer file for an extension so that we could fix my papers. So we were able to seek for an extension of 1 month, and we kept asking for 1 month extension each thereafter because the next problem we encountered was that they would not give me a visa if New York State Board would not give me my physical therapy license. And you know what New York State Board said? They would not issue me my physical therapy license if I do not have a valid long-term visa. Visa, license, license, visa. OMG. I was getting stressed. I was losing hope. I was getting in too much debt, although my cousin was very generous to keep paying for the lawyer and the application process for the meantime. I had sleepless nights, and whenever I was alone in the room, I was always crying and feeling hopeless and depressed. All my life, I am proud to say I have always had flawless skin, but during those times, I had severe skin breakouts because of stress. My face did not just have a few pimples, it had a lot, and they were oozing and pus was coming out of them no matter what product I tried. I could not even recognize myself. I could not bear to look at my face in the mirror. It seemed like I could not even find my face hidden behind all those pimples. I'm not kidding. It was really, really bad acne. And for someone who used to call herself a narcissist, it broke my spirit real bad. It took almost a year before my visa finally got straightened out, and I finally started working as a physical therapist. Whenever something came up, and I felt like I was losing hope after that, I would always go back to that moment and remind myself that nothing is impossible. I would use that experience to my advantage and say, hey, you went through that roller coaster ride before. This should be easy for now. Just let it pass. Soon it will be all over. Just keep going. Hope makes us look forward to what the future holds, despite how bleak the current situation is. And that's something that we should always keep in our hearts. We should always remember to have hope, to have a sense of hope. We should always remember to give hope and to not take that hope away from others. Love, that's the third virtue. Love is a many-splendored thing. Love is the greatest gift of all. Love makes the world go round, and it truly does. Experiencing love and giving love is the most beautiful thing in the world. Love is everything. Self-love, love for others, love of God. As long as we have love in our hearts, all other things would follow. I cannot stress on that any further. Next is serve. Aside from a strong sense of gratitude, as long as we have love in our hearts, we will automatically serve, and this gives meaning to our very existence in this world. We were not put on earth just to live for ourselves. We were placed on this wonderful earth to make the world a better place. And even if that seems vague or too general, the point is we can make it simple and personal for each and every one of us. Whenever we wake up in the morning, our question should be, in my own capacity, how can I be of service today? Mother Teresa has this to say, if you cannot do great things, do little things with great love. If you cannot do them with great love, do them with little love. If you cannot do them with a little love, do them anyway. How can I serve you? I serve by offering you this talk and my book. I hope to inspire you to love your own life and share yourself purposely for others too. I also aim to keep writing books and to hone my public speaking skills to convey my messages even better. From being stressed to being blessed, I now serve by healing people of their pains and postural problems as a physical therapist and a Dorn spinal alignment practitioner. And during this pandemic, I am grateful to have been used as a medium to foster love and kindness in Mountain Province. This is because I founded the Bontoc Barter community during the quarantine period. The Bontoc Barter community has served so many people, allowing them to somehow survive this pandemic through bartering of things they have at home, since working has become difficult. Furthermore, I am happy to belong to the Success Community, a wisdom brokerage under John Calum, the Philippines' #1 success coach. In the community, we have the opportunity to learn from many different mentors, and we are blessed to be able to invite people to join us so they could keep blessing more and more people, especially during these times when economy has really affected us all adversely. And now back to this book that we are celebrating today. Daily Dose of Sunshine promises to help you and your loved ones live through every challenges that may come your way. It is a collection of letters written in the simplest way with the goal to affirm or reaffirm one's innate positive values, which sometimes tend to be forgotten over time or with life's complexities. I have been through many low moments in my life. What kept me afloat were those learnings that I got from those trainings and workshops and seminars that I have attended. You can feel these breakthrough moments as you read the contents of this book. Nowadays, we encounter too many people getting depressed so easily. If suicide was a taboo subject in the past, it probably still is in some parts of the world. But for now, it is a prevalent thing that needs to be discussed because it is getting so rampant nowadays. I have a dear friend who lost her son in this manner, which is probably a very devastating thing for a young mother to come to terms with. But weeks later, her only remaining son and her only daughter were also making attempts at ending their own lives. It was double, triple whammy for this young mother, and I could only feel the devastation, and I could only imagine the devastation and pain going on in her heart, mind, and soul as she was going through all this. Thankfully, with faith, hope, love, and service, she was able to overcome this. The whole family has now healed, and slowly things are falling into place after life almost fell apart on her. But that's just one story. We all have heard stories of people taking their own lives because they could not handle the curveballs that life threw at them. These events must stop. We must bring a message of hope and inspiration. By publishing this book, I pray that many people will read it and get the dose of sunshine that they needed. Some parts of this book have been shared by me in one way or another through my Facebook posts. Even in my own sadness, I have been doing my best to share something positive, to inspire myself and to inspire others, instead of dragging us all down with negative vibrations. Some people say they look forward to my posts, so I thought to myself, I must be doing something right. When I shared the manuscript of this book to my friends and mentors who reviewed it, I received almost similar comments. They said this book is a certified bringer of hope and positivity, and reading it will surely bring a reader a daily dose of sunshine through their gloomy days. Allow me to share with you some of the reviews that I got. Dr. Pai Kalayan of the Manny and Pai Kalayan Clinic is a celebrity doctor or doctor to the stars, catering to the likes of Luis Manzano, Solen Yusef, Christine Reyes, and many more. She says, I am profoundly touched by the messages in the book. I have been through hell and back, and these messages are a wake-up call and really hit me hard. It is a reminder to know who I am and to vibrate my highest potential. Nothing I would say would even come close to the profound experience when reading the book. All I can say is, thank you, thank you, thank you. Raymond Lim is another mentor I look up to. He is from Singapore. I took his money-making muscles as well as his leadership action program in Baguio a long time ago. He is a known global investor and the CEO of RBG Philippines. He has this to say about my book. This book is not just about Far and her lessons in life. As you read her journal, it will speak volumes to you. You will pick up little gems as if you are the author experiencing life lessons. I strongly encourage everyone to read this book and add on to it as if it is their own. Last but not the least, although there's more reviews, but for the sake of this talk, let me limit it to only 3 for now. Chris Dauanis is an author, inspirational speaker, and public speaking coach. He was also the one who did the interior layout of my book. He also helped much with the proofreading and into making the book even more meaningful for everyone to read. Aside from that, I give him credit for my growth as a public speaker because he is my own coach. I did not know him before this pandemic. As I always believe, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Lo and behold, I was just led to him through a Facebook comment when I posted that I was soon publishing a book while on quarantine. And one thing led to another. I am truly grateful for his dedication to serve and to help his mentees shine. Anyway, Coach Chris has a short but sweet review of my book which says, we all need daily reminders to keep us on the right path in life. Otherwise, we might get lost. This book will help you stay on track. These people have no reason to lie or to sugarcoat their words for my book. They have said everything that needs to be said about it. So what are you waiting for? Buy a book for yourself or for your loved ones. Together, let us spread a daily dose of sunshine.